Good day, guys, and welcome back to the Flashback Flicks. In today's video, I will be recapping the 2007 animated movie called Ratatouille. Now let's get started. The film begins with a televised documentary about Auguste Gusteau, a French chef who owns the five-star restaurant Gusteau's in Paris. He is the youngest chef to ever have a 5-star rating and has a best-selling book titled, Anyone Can Cook. Everyone adored Gusteau, except for food critic Anton Ego, who has tried over the years to diminish Gusteau's reputation because he does not believe in his motto, anyone can cook. The film then switches to Remy, a young rat who lives with his brother Émile and a pack led by his father, Django, in the attic of a French country house owned by an old woman. Remy has a keen sense of smell and taste, which he uses to keep his father from eating food contaminated with rat poison. At this point, Django suddenly believes that Remy's gift is great. Remy is happy about it until Django gives him the task of poison tester, where he has to smell all the stolen food to determine if it is poisoned or not. Unlike the other rats, Remy doesn't like garbage food and is fascinated by humans, much to Django's chagrin. Django forbids Remy to go into the kitchen, where the food is not poisoned, and stay away from the humans because they're dangerous. But Remy ignores this and goes into the kitchen of the house and watches a documentary by Gusteau, from which Remy is greatly inspired. The next day, Remy discovers a mushroom which he cooks with the help of Émile, and he finds that Émile has cheese, and both go to the roof to cook. However, lightning strikes them but also cooks the mushroom that Remy has prepared, which Remy likes very much. Remy wants to add saffron but it's in the kitchen. While Remy is looking for it, Émile feels very uncomfortable in the kitchen because he is afraid that the old lady might wake up. Apart from his good sense of smell, Remy also reveals that he can read and watch TV, which the rats would never do. As Django grows impatient waiting for Remy and Émile, Remy shows Émile Gustave's documentary on the television. The documentary reveals that Gusteau passed away after Ego's negative review cost the restaurant its 5-star rating, shocking Remy. The old lady wakes up and is shocked to see Remy and Émile. She grabs a shotgun and shoots at them both. Émile tries to escape back to the colony but the old lady shoots the roof, leaving Émile hanging loosely from the chandelier. Remy rescues Émile and returns to the colony while the old lady tries to reload her gun. She succeeds and shoots at the roof, but she can't kill them. The roof breaks open to reveal the colony, shocking the old lady even more. The rats flee, but Remy returns to get the book as the last rat in the house. The old lady returns with rat poison. Remy manages to escape and he tries to catch up with the clan who are on a river in their getaway boat. Remy tries to catch up with them but the old lady shoots at them. He tries to catch up by paddling with the spatula they gave him. He loses the clan after taking a wrong turn and falling into a waterfall and through a series of rapids. He finds land and waits for the clan to find him, but the clan never does. Remy reads Gustave's book and gets hungry, with an imaginary figure of Gusteau appearing before his eyes. Egged on by Gusteau, he makes his way into the sewers and into an apartment complex where he finds bread. However, Gusteau stops Remy and tells him that a cook makes, a thief takes. Remy decides to leave and goes to the roof of the apartment to find that he has been under Paris all along and has found Gusteau's restaurant. In the restaurant's kitchen, a young man named Alfredo Linguini is waiting to meet Chef Skinner, the restaurant's current owner and Gusteau's former sous chef. Linguini is the son of Renata, one of Gusteau's ex-girlfriends who recently passed away. Linguini gives Skinner a letter from his mother, hoping it'll help him get a job at the restaurant. Skinner ignores him, but the chef seems to have already hired him as a garbage boy. Meanwhile, Remy goes to the restaurant's skylight to observe the staff in action and determine the roles of each kitchen employee. He also observes Linguini, whom he calls a nobody, working in the kitchen. When Linguini spills some of the soup and tries to recreate it with random ingredients, Remy is horrified and angry. In his overreaction, Remy accidentally falls into the kitchen sink. He tries to escape, but his attempts keep failing as he's knocked out several times. When he finally has a chance to escape, but Remy decides to fix the horrible soup that Linguini cooked, adding spices to his liking. Encouraged by Gusteau, Remy decides to make the soup only to be caught by Linguini. When Skinner comes to get the soup, Linguini sets a trap for him, and Linguini caught by Skinner, who believes Linguini was cooking in his kitchen. However, during the confrontation, the waiter took some of the soup to serve to a guest. Observing the guest's reaction to the soup, Skinner believed the soup had failed and angrily fired Linguini until the guest asked for the cook. The guest turned out to be Céline Leclerc, a food critic who liked the soup and thought it was a success. Skinner doesn't believe Linguini actually made the soup and is on the verge of firing him. However, Colette, the only female chef on the team, convinces Skinner to keep Linguini because she believes he is behind the soup's success. She also reminds Skinner of Gustave's motto and that the restaurant would lose its reputation if he were fired after Leclerc writes the review about it. Skinner decides to keep Linguini and have Colette watch him. And Chef asks the Linguini to make the soup again tomorrow. When Remy tries to escape, he's discovered by Skinner. Linguini locks Remy in a jar and Skinner orders him to kill him outside the kitchen. Linguini goes to the river to drown him, but Linguini stops and realizes that he is the creator of the soup and asks him if he can help him to recreate it. Linguini frees Remy, but he escapes. Remy returns to Linguini, however, and realizes that he cannot abandon him and that he saved him from drowning. Linguini then takes the Remy to his apartment. The next morning, Remy made breakfast for Linguini, and both go to the restaurant. Their Skinner asks him to make the soup again. Linguini have a hard time overcoming their language barrier until Remy starts pulling Linguini's hair to control his limbs like a puppet. The two successfully meet the challenges Skinner has devised. Days passed by peacefully, and Linguini's soup is a great hit. However, the customers want to try something else now, but it must be prepared by Linguini. Skinner senses it as a good chance to fire Linguini. He gives him the most difficult recipe, which even Gusto couldn't master. Colette advises Linguini to follow the recipe, but he's controlled by Remy, who believes the recipe needs to be altered. Colette scolds him for making the improvised sauce, but Remy forces Alfredo to put it on the plate. The dish goes out, and voila, it's loved by everyone. All the other customers start ordering Linguini special too. At the end of the day, the chefs celebrate their success with a toast. Linguini also rewards the real hero and gives Remy a hearty meal. Remy finds Emile in the restaurant's trash and Remy is reunited with the pack. Django warns Remy that humans and rats will never get along, but Remy doesn't believe him. Meanwhile, Remy reluctantly feeds Emile and his friends by stealing from the kitchen pantry during the nights. He worries about Linguini's talent and finds out that Linguini is actually Gustave's son and the rightful owner of the restaurant. This revelation would ruin Skinner's plans to use Gustave's name to market a line of microwave dishes. He calls his lawyer, who confirms that Linguini is Gustave's son by finding a hair in the late chef's cap. Skinner faces the dilemma of not being able to fire Linguini without it looking suspicious. His lawyer advises him to wait until the deadline for Gustave's will has passed before firing him. However, Remy discovers the documents and takes them to Linguini, who then fires Skinner and takes control of the restaurant. Linguini and Colette even develop a romantic relationship, leaving Remy feeling left out and taken for granted. A short time later, Anton Ego announces that he'll review the restaurant again the next day due to its increasing success. Linguini, under the pressure of Ego's impending arrival, clashes with Remy, whereupon Remy retaliates by ordering a raid on the kitchen that night. Linguini catches the rats in the act and chases them all away, including Remy, threatening to treat him the way restaurants always treat rats should he return. Remy is crestfallen and is captured by Skinner in a cage. Remy has a final conversation with his phantom Gusto, who tells him that he never needed his guidance, and at that moment, he's freed by Django and Emile. Remy returns to the kitchen where a distraught Linguini apologizes and asks Remy to help him again. Linguini then reveals the truth about Remy, leading to a mass dismissal of the heartbroken staff. Colette later returns after remembering Gustave's motto. Impressed by his son's determination, Django organizes the rest of the pack to help in the kitchen. Skinner and a health inspector, bound and gagged, into the freezer when they try to interfere. Linguini uses roller skates to wait on all the tables by himself while Remy and Colette work together to prepare a variation of Ratatouille for Ego. Ego is delighted with the dish, which brings back childhood memories of his mother's cooking, and asks to see the chef. Linguini and Colette wait until all the other guests have left to introduce Remy to Ego. Ego writes a rave review of the food the next day, calling Remy, without mentioning his name or revealing that he is a rat, nothing less than the best chef in France. After Skinner and the health inspector are released, the restaurant is closed shortly thereafter, causing Ego to lose his job and credibility for praising a restaurant full of rats. However, he eagerly funds a new bistro run by Linguini and Colette, where both humans and rats can dine, and Remy can continue to cook. At the end of the film, we see a long line outside the restaurant and a sign with a rat wearing a chef's hat and holding a spoon, with the name La Ratatouille underneath. As the colony of rats settles into their new home in the attic of the bistro, Ratatouille teaches us that greatness can come from the most unexpected places. No matter who you are or where you come from, if you have passion and determination, you can achieve your dreams. Anyone can cook means that talent and inspiration can be found in everyone, even a rat in the kitchen. This has been a recap of the Ratatouille movie. Hope you guys have liked it. Don't forget to subscribe and comment. Until next time.